If you are just tuning in with us, this is part 2 with Tully Williams talking about tariffs and how it is affecting the industry today and what is going to happen over the next couple of months with a 25% increase to all imported vehicles into the United States. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, go back and listen, watch whatever it is you need to do. Part 1, great information there. Just to summarize, Tully shared with us how he is making FixedOps the leader in his dealership and how the Nilo company and companies like his are turning 2025 into the year of the parts department. So now we're going to get into some really big information on tariffs. So Tully, let me ask you this. Parts, as consumers become more price sensitive and they're online shopping for their parts, what steps can the dealership take to make sure that their parts and accessories are competitive and visible to these customers no matter where or when they are shopping?
So competitive is going to be the hardest part. With the tariff coming in, margins are going to shrink. But what happens when margins shrink? Volume wins. And here's the deal. Revolutionary Parts helps us, and that's there. If you're going to sell 5 parts online and expect to make a profit, ain't going to happen, right? Our goal is that we have to drive those online parts sales because our margin is going to shrink. It is what it is. Don't even gripe about it. Let's just move on. The issue is going to be is that it is what it is. So aggressively grab onto it and go after it. You have to increase your volume. Step up your marketing that you're going after that pride because your goal is that you want to drive those part sales. Now, yes, our margin might shrink a teens, right? Or a little bit. Of course, you're gonna have that. But volume can step up. And 2, you're also selling more parts, which gives you a better benefit for your factory when you're trying to hit those objectives.
I love that. Emily, you're a marketing expert. You've been working in this both OEM, dealership, and aftermarket space for a long time. Talk to us a little bit about parts marketing. If you had to give like one piece of advice to these people, Tully says, market your parts. How should they do that?
Well, first of all, Tully said it best. Volume is the name of the game. E-commerce is how you drive that parts volume. But a lot of dealers feel like they can open their online store and, if you build it, they will come. And that's not really how online sales works, right? So you got to have marketing. You got to, and what we recommend really is that you take marketing to an agency that is specifically built for parts marketing. The marketing in your dealership might not be fit for parts. They're used to selling cars to consumers, to drivers. They're marketing your service department. Parts marketing is a little bit different. So investing a little bit of money, even to start out to market your online parts department, that's how you really supercharge your sales and tap into that volume selling that Tully is talking about.
Volume selling. Tully, if we want to volume sell, what kind of parts are we volume selling? You just said in our last episode, selling an air filter and a couple of spark plugs is not going to do it. What do we think?
The way you have to believe in it is that you can't be limited to what you're going to put online. You need to open up your whole entire inventory. Whatever they want, we're going to give it to them. And the issue I think happens a lot is that we are limited to sell you the easy things. Well, here's the deal. Everybody sells those, right? The goal is that we want to sell our entire inventory, right? Revolutionary Parts puts our inventory online. They can search whatever they want. That's what we have to be. You got to be all in or get the hell out.
Hey, I love that. Okay, let's leave that question there. Let's go on to the next one. Let's talk about strengthening fixed ops operations. So, especially through part sales, how are we remaining profitable and staying ahead of the competition with parts going up 25, 35, 45%?
Well, that starts with great reputation, great repeat and referral business, and retention rate. This is what drives your business. If your retention at your store is at 40s and 50s, you have a serious problem. If your ratings are down in 1 or 2 stars, you have a serious problem, right? If people do want to come back to you because they feel they have to, you have a serious problem. If your customer retention is like ours in the 70s, the goal is people, we've already built those great relationships. And our relationships is they trust the Nilo company to do the right thing. Yes, they know the tariffs. Everybody in the United States has this. This is not a secret. The goal is going to be is that there's going to be some price increases on certain things. Are we going to try to help manage that as best we can? Absolutely, we are going to help manage that process. But it starts with the trust of the customer at the Nilo company. If you do not have that, you need to start over again. That's the reason why it's so important to be truly in the repeat referral business, not the one-time business, but the repeat and referral business.
That's a great point. I mean, when you're talking about automotive parts, people are not trying to mess around with their vehicles. They want to go to someone that they trust, that they know they can count on to get them the genuine part, the right part. And it reminds me of a story a dealer told me just the other day. He had an online order come through for a part. He recognized the name of the shopper and he's like, wait a second. He clicks on his name. It was his 150th order. So retention is everything. It's a lot cheaper to have a customer come back than to go find a new one. So, I mean, I totally agree with you, Tully.
When you also look at the overall market, let's admit it. Most of our part sales are in-house. We get that, right? And it's through the service drive with great customers coming in. But the goal is that if you tell everybody, are you marketing your online products to your customers, right? So the goal is that they can tell their friends and family, hey, the Nilos can sell you parts online. They can tell their friends and family, which hey, guess what? They're not in Sacramento. They could be in Maine or Texas. The goal is that they can get that same value, because what happens when your car breaks? I don't know if I trust anybody, right? Well, I don't know what to do. I'm going to call a friend. Call a friend. The Nilo company can make it happen for you.
Well, and totally on top of that, somebody's going to come to you for the really gross jobs, the things they don't want to do themselves. But a person that comes to the dealership for the gross jobs, they might also be working on projects at home. The DIYers, I call them YouTube mechanics, they are more prevalent than ever. And I say I am one myself. When I have something I want to do to my vehicle, it is so often that I'm looking to see where those parts are, what they cost, watching YouTube videos. Can I do it at home? And if I'm going to order those parts, I'm probably going to order them from a dealership that I know and trust.
100%. The goal is that do they trust you? Now, when you look at the gross jobs, I kind of look at it as, when we look at a job, when we do it, we do a full inspection, we do pictures and video of everything that's red. Now you get some DIY. I think I could do that myself, but that's something I don't want to do. Right? Here's the deal. Then we can refer the customer to if you want to do it at home, because they're going to tell the service advisor that, right? The service advisor, you know what? You can buy the parts from me, or you can go online and buy them from us and we'll send them to you. The whole goal is that you have the options that customers want. That's the key issue. I think a lot of times people are scared. Oh, we can't send them away. They can't do it by themselves. Why not? If they truly believe that you're the great store and you're doing a great job, they're going to come back. Hopefully they're going to come back, trade their car in, and buy another one.
And YouTube mechanics can only benefit the dealership, right? Because when we break something, who are we going to call?
100%, because they've already trusted you by already buying those parts, so they feel like that they have a relationship with your store, and they'll call and ask for advice. God bless America. That's what parts guys do.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're talking about the tariffs and we're talking about how it's affecting the industry. And really, I think what it all comes down to is, again, 2025 is the year of the parts department. And we've said it before, and I'll say it again, parts are the only thing that you cannot live without. You can live with your current vehicle. You don't have to get a brand new one. You don't have to trade your vehicle in every 2 years for a brand new vehicle like we used to 10 years ago. You can keep your vehicle, but you have to fix it. And you really don't have any option. When something breaks, you've got to buy parts. And if you're going to buy parts, you're going to price shop. And if you're going to price shop, you're going to be online. So all these things lead to say, the 2025 year of the parts department is entirely dependent on the parts department being successful and how they present those parts to the consumer.
When you think about what you just said there, is that another issue is that how are you managing your inventory? So the goal is that when you look at online sales, you've got to have an inventory that is a great inventory and clean inventory. The issue is going to be is that you want to sell all the stuff that's moving today. So, as a parts manager, you need to be active of monitoring your inventory. I look at aged inventory as the killer. I don't care about all these other statistics that 20 groups come up with. I just care about if you have anything old. That's all I care about. So if you have anything over 12 months, I'm completely freaking out, right? Two is that I look at working stocks that sells every day. Your stock that's under 6 months. How much of your inventory is under 6 months? Because here's the deal. If we don't have a good inventory, you're not going to sell it in the service drive. And guess what? You're not going to sell it online as well. Having clean inventory helps us drive parts sales. It is a necessity. And think about this. It's probably the only inventory that the dealership physically owns. They don't own cars. They usually floor everything, and they don't own technicians. Parts department, when we get a bill, they take the money out of our checking account.
There you go. You heard it straight from the source. Tully Williams, over 40 years of experience in the fixed ops space. Tariff panic is doing you no good. Boost your parts department sales, boost your fixed ops sales. Make sure that your fixed operations in your dealership are built up and ready for all of the people that are going to be coming in for repairs and replacements, because they're not trading their vehicles in 2025. All right, guys, that's it for this episode of the Parts Pros. Thank you for tuning into this 2-part episode. Again, if you only caught the second part, go back and listen to the first part. Tully gave us some excellent advice in part 1 as well as part 2. For more information on our official e-commerce sponsor, Revolution Parts, visit partsprospodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, YouTube, or our website, and don't miss our next episode. Thanks.